How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trailmakers Creations by ThatDomGuy. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a few things I've built over the last little while. You may have noticed the gap in content, been pretty busy. So let's have a look at what we built with our new parts from the Airborne expansion. We got new jets and wings and all kinds of goodie. A few of my new favorite pieces happen to be from this new update. So this one here, a lot of these things don't have names or anything like that, so if you got any name suggestions, put it in the comments below, and we'll see about it. I'll let you know if I do select your name. So this is a typical jet, just looks like a normal jet, right? Like, except it's got some sails for that angle in the wings. And again, sails have good resistance, so you can just hit space. In this video as well, a lot of these builds are going to have some new concept ideas. A lot of dog fighting going on these days in the servers, so we're gonna look at a couple of new concepts that I haven't seen yet in any of the servers. There may be people out there doing it already, but I haven't noticed it. So one of the ideas is when you go into combat mode, you can hit like a number 1. That'll increase your speed, but it also, back here the guns are on hinges, so you can open your scope of targeting when you go into combat mode. Gives you a nice spread. So while the bad guys are trying to get away, you can catch them left or right with an even wider area of attack. There's missiles on this as well. It's nice to get a hit with those missiles, isn't it? Epic. They do decent damage. So yep, this is just a pretty basic fighter. Handles pretty well. No landing gear or anything like that. It just likes to lose engine parts, and hopefully you don't do that, fall off the edge. But usually that's what happens, unless you get enough room, of course. Alright, let's take a look at another build. So this one is like a Learjet, private jet kind of looking thing, except it only does one thing. It's only armed, you don't see any weapons or anything on it, right? So in the belly is just nothing but bombs. So it's like a carpet bomber without being a carpet bomber. So see, all those in there in that channel are all a redonkulous number of bombs. So this is like a major strafing. You can go. Oh, mega bombs. So that's a pretty good bomber without it being a huge bomber looking. You know, it's more of a. Like the way you can hear the bombs are reloading. Ready to go! Launch again! Alright, let's try right across the docks. That's pretty good. That's pretty good damage, eh? That's a lot of bombs. That's a lot of bombs. I got something else to show you in this video as well, having to do with bombs. I wanted to do that, have that same kind of effect, but from the ground. Is there any way you could bomb somebody from the ground? Well, of course there is. If you put bombs on a missile or a rocket, then you can launch your rockets, and the rockets drop the bombs. This is epic for exploding yourself as well. Check it out. That's how you clean up a mess. Alright, let's take a look at our next build. So the few times I've been in public servers recently, I've pulled this out a couple of times, so a few of you may have seen this live and in person. But I was just working on a set of mech legs that there's no stabilization in this, but I wanted them to be able to bend like this. and not fall over. And that's just holding S, and then just let go of S and he stands back up. Whoa, 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 oh, oh, down we go. Poof. Face plant. But Optimus, you said. So I tried putting bigger arms on him and a bigger head, and it just glitched out the hinges in the legs and in the knees. It just started bending in weird ways that didn't make any sense. Where it should be connected, it wasn't connected. It was really strange. I tried quite a few different things, but this is what I ended up with. It's mostly hollow. It can rotate around like this. It's got some cannons with some little mini thrusters there to counter the recoil, or try and counter the recoil. Again, down like this, or when you push S, hold S, it squats down. Kind of use the recoil to keep yourself standing up. But yeah, no stabilization or gimbal jets or anything like that in there. He just balances on his own. He's got some pretty heavy feet, though. You know what I mean? He can't walk. That would be the next one. If you know good programming, maybe I'll upload this as giant red robot, and you can throw some logic in it, see if you can make him walk. That would look pretty cool. He's pretty big. All right, so let's go to our next build. So then after I built the big giant man, I decided to try and build the smallest plane possible with the new parts. And there it is. And it just so happens to be my favorite fighter. It is very effective. It's hard to hit. It's fast. It's small. It's maneuverable. It's everything you could want in a fighter. And it's just tiny. I think it's like 16 pieces. This is going to be a video in itself on how to build this thing, but you can probably just take a look at it and go, okay, so it's got like 3 wings, a propeller in the front, propeller in the back. It's got my favorite new wing piece, that tail wing piece there for your lift. And that's just connected to a seat and a couple of guns on either side. So let's jump in. It has 13 pieces. There you go, 13 piece fighter jet, 9 power cores. Jump in, want to see how it flies. Uses the tail for lift, and it just uses seat steering for your roll. Because it's so small, you have actually decent roll. Full roll control. Twin cannons. And the recoil doesn't slow you down too much, actually. As you can see, you actually have really good control. And because they're so small, you can just let off the power and you slow down right away. So you can just tuck and roll and drift as tight as you want. Those jet fighters can try and go super fast and rotate around you. But all you got to do is just let off on your speed and you'll turn no problem. So this actually has won me many, many battles. It's hard to hit with missiles unless you come really close, but even then, the auto tracking, you're so small. It's such a small target, it's almost impossible to hit. As you can see, nice and maneuverable, and you can skim the water. Again, because you're so light, you don't just sink into the water with big drag. Out you go, no problem. So yeah, you'll probably be able to, and I find this to be my most effective fighter. Even when it takes a little bit of damage, unless you get cut in half, you can even land no damage. Unless you get cut in half, it stays together, it holds together pretty well. You're either flying or you're not, one or the other. Can't be missing a bunch of parts because it doesn't have a bunch of parts. So yeah, no name for that too either. That's like the micro fighter. It's like the redder Baron, the reddest Baron, except it's not a bi-wing. It's just a single wing. But with the way they're positioned, it almost looks like a little biplane. All right, let's take a look at our next build. So the next build was a more traditional jet, as you can see. Again, it's using some sails as the wings and a whole bunch of our new flight parts. It's got a funky paint job. It's got front landing gear. It's got missiles and machine guns. And it actually flies pretty well. Landing gear will tuck up out of the way. Again, sails work really, really well as wings. A lot of stability, a lot of drag as well. The nice thing is you can get decals on both sides of sails. So you can see this has got decent speed too. This is a pretty good Interceptor, I guess it would be. Nothing super fancy. Just built the design right out of my head. She flies well. Pretty quick. 430, 440, 450. Ooh, that was close. She's a little, she does have decent agility, but nowhere near as tight cornering and nimble as you'd like in a dogfight. Land it. We land it. Well, of course we can land it like that. Nailed it! Beauty. Any landing you can walk away from, right? And we can definitely walk away from that. Alright, let's take a look at our next build. So we went from the jet to the dual seat helicopter with your gunner in the front there and then your pilot up here in the back. You gotta make sure I get into the right seat. And again, real short body. See that? Real short body. Short tail. Stubby. So I believe it's number 1. It's going to start us propellers. And then we can VTOL with our jets. As you can tell with your vertical, our landing gear will tuck up and our gun seat comes up as well. You can see that. See, we can come down a wee bit. And you can see it come down when the landing gear comes out. See how the gunning seat drops as well. This does have stabilization built into it, which is why it's a wee bit wobbly. But hey, it stays up. So just our main propellers there is giving us enough lift to get in the air once we use our jets. And then we hit number 2, which rotates those forward. Hold space. We'd be flying. You do have control of the rockets in the gun as well as the captain. Otherwise it would be your gunner. As you can see, we can hover just like this in place. She wants to spin a wee bit because of its short base length, body length. We've got our mini propellers inside there. Just love the hitbox on those new small propellers. They're tiny. You can stack them together now. That's awesome. Good job, Debs. Yeah, having our thrusters like this. We've got a helicopter plane type gyrocopter thingy. You can just hover in place, shoot folks. Got a cannon that spins left and right. Left shift will bring it down. We can also hit number 1 to rotate our, number 2, rotate our thrusters. That'll slow us down as well because our wings are now vertical, and then we can slam it into the ground like that, and we can fall off the aircraft carrier and drown and be written down in the history books as the stupidest helicopter pilot in history. Or not. That's, optional. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, so that's like I don't know, it looks like a fluffy helicopter just because of how short it is and weird shaped. Alright, let's take a look at our next build. So now this thing is not painted because it ain't 100% complete, but what I was trying to do here was counter the torque of a single helicopter engine by not having the torque coming from the pivot point, but having that just a free-floating bearing and having all the torque coming from the ends of your propellers. So that should create no torque from the center, right? Theoretically. Now all you need to do is make sure your body is heavier than your propellers, and the propellers will spin instead of you spinning. So we got a mini helicopter here with these huge blades. We got some chain guns and lots of smoke coming from the jet engines, which makes it a little hard to see your craft, but it's also like a smoke screen. Then I decided to put some mad scientist blocks on there to give it the electric feel. Circle. But it does work. It counters. Ooh, Oh, no damage. It counters the torque of a helicopter engine by creating torque on the outside of the blades instead of in the center. So, that worked. Successful. Alright, let's take a look at another build. So then I was trying to build a fighter using nothing but the smallest engines that we have, our new little tiny mini thrusters. So how many of those, because they're kind of quiet, they sound cool, but there's no smoke or anything behind them, so you can be kind of stealthy, and they fit in a cool way. They got a good connection point on the front of them. So it's like, how many of those would it take to make like a little micro fighter like this? And this kind of led me into another idea. This thing's actually pretty fast because it cuts through the air fairly good. Ain't a lot of resistance. And good handling as well. Being able to keep the wings in the back and a lot of lift in the front. Use your guns, air brakes, and then crash into the ground. Yeah, so this was just how small can you make a small fighter just using those little tiny engines? And that kind of gave me another idea. It's like, well, this is small enough from that small jet idea. Now this uses bigger jets, but this is actually it's like a flying saucer almost. But again, this is for dogfighting. We've got 3 cannons, as you can see. Fairly decent agility. Do some nice rolls. Decent speed increase. We can slow down. We can rotate fairly quickly. But the reason for the majority of the bulk is this is actually a suit of armor for the jet that I'm actually flying. So once we take enough damage, bang, 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 we got glowing parts all over the place. We just simply hit number 1 and we shed all the damaged parts, and we still have a microfighter inside that shouldn't have any damage taken to it unless it was hit from below, that we can still continue the fight with. Hey? Hey? Anybody thought of that yet? Armor up your jet, detach the damaged stuff, and keep on fighting. Not as easy as it sounds. Not easy building a separatable piece from another piece. That was pretty close. And there we go. That was even closer. So close, it's like contact. So yeah, I haven't seen anybody doing this yet either. Love the graphics too, those decals. That was a good update. We've got lots of weapons. As you can see, we also have a rotating jet engine in the back there for turning. It's almost like a rudder. Works actually pretty well. This big jet's got lots of oomph. Yep, so damage taken, eject, fly away, live to fight another day. Haven't seen anybody doing that yet, but you could do a whole series on armored jets, armored vehicles. Put some plate armor on it maybe, on detachable blocks, and as they take damage, you can just detach those pieces. And obviously, you can fly without those pieces. Shouldn't affect your performance, because you can fly alone with this inside piece. Alright, let's take a look at another build. So we went from the small fighter to the 2 fighters in 1 fighter, and now we got the big fighter. He's a big giant. Now, it looks like a pretty big plane, almost like a bomber style, but believe it or not, this is a fighter. It's big, but it's got some oomph. She goes pretty good, and she handles pretty good too for something this size. We got good machine gun action. We got missile action. And you could probably carry a payload. It's got automatic landing gear that folds up. As you can see, she actually rotates pretty good. Got pretty good handling. Ooh, that was, ooh. Looks like we're missing something. No problem, see, we're still flying. That's what makes it very tough, is that you can still be missing parts and it still works just fine. You can still complete the mission. That's the only thing you should be worried about. Whoa. Okay, fail. See, now stop. So yeah, that's a big fighter. That's just wings from here to breakfast. So there you go. There's another idea. Try and build a big giant fighter. Try and build the biggest fighter you can that still actually behaves like a fighter. It was fun. It's actually fun just trying to make the body shapes for these things. All right, let's take a look at another build. So then we went with we got good control until we need to go faster. Then we lose a little bit of control, but we go a lot faster. So this thing actually has really, really good steering as well, good handling. As you can see, it's got some hinges on the tail as well as the fins. So you get decent reaction, nice tight cornering. With the wings open like this, you've got 4 cannons. You've got decent control. You're not going too fast. You don't rotate too fast. But if you hit number 1, you go into intercept mode, the wings fold in, and then you've got way faster roll. But way faster everything as well. You can zip in, hit your target, keep yourself as small a profile as possible, and then when you want a little more control, coming in for landing or whatever, you can just open up your wings and no problemo. So again, that just uses the old hinge glitch with the parts. They interlock inside each other. That's why it's somewhat of a glitch. Woohoo! See? Just like that, no problem. No problemo. Just go hit that thing. 4 cannons and a square on the front, so that's decent coverage for your guns. Right, no name for this thing either. So. Oh. Alright, let's take a look at another build. How many builds does this guy have? Then I decided to come into the water. And as we can see here, ooh, look at this scary face. Ooh. So I made a boat. But I want it to be like stealth boat, but with some speed as well. So I put a flutter drive on it rather than aquatic propellers. So we can do 100 kilometers an hour just with our flutter drives. Again, much tighter turning when I'm not using the flutter drives. So we can just tap those and that'll give us plenty of go speed. Fairly stealthy as well. We got some sails there on top, covering up the body of it. Again, the sails give us a decal on either side. So that's kind of cool. So I put the big mouth there with the flappy eyes. And again, because we were using flutter drives when we got sails there, we can use those for lift. We can leave the stickiness of the water. Away we go. Yeah, alright, flying boat. The boat is also armed, as you can see. We got machine guns that go out to the side and in front. And we also have some missiles that face upwards. So if we are a boat down in the water, like this, we can just come down to the water, no problem. See, so if we down here in the water, we can just launch missiles when we can see red. When we lock on, we can fire. Or we can just fly right out the water. Get involved in the battle with the planes in your boat. Come on, come on, come on! Ooh, not quiet, not quiet, not quiet. Nice try. No cigar. Alright, let's take a look at another build. Alright, so this is a build that was inspired from the, I believe it's called a Reaper from the movie Elysium. The bounty hunter there, the guy that's on Earth with all the implants and stuff, the guy that the vehicle they fly around in, the military grade. It looks something like this. That's what this is inspired by. So this has got dual seats in it, all nice and open space in there. We got a couple of doors that we can open as well. There's one in the back. Let's see where it's E, I believe, opens up the back door. It's right. Right, and we break the thing when we're getting out, so it's a good thing we have another way out. We make sure we can open that. We can get back in our seat here. We can repair that. Number 1 opens up 2 side doors as well, but those also double as bomb bay doors. You can see that the bombs are now facing downwards, where you can launch them from here. That's what's on the sides of the doors there. On the bottom is your bombs, your bombs. But number 1 will open that in case you want to get more guys in there. Everybody out, let's go! So you can close those up. So it automatically rotates and drops. You'll see the back change. This is VTOL, so it takes off like this. Once we get high enough, you'll see the back change shape, and the thrusters rotate forward, and away we go. Again, we have rockets and machine guns. Flies fairly decently, nice and level. We have my bombs, which is number 2, which we can fire when those doors are closed, or again, you can open those doors if you want a more targeted bombing area. Then we can close that up. We can fly on. We can do a landing and watch the tail end and the rudders automatically. As soon as we lose thrust from space, when it sees the ground, that's when it's going to, that's when we kick in with our VTOL. It's not a good place to land. No damage. Ta-da! Yeah, and now I'm in here, but I can't get out of here because there's enough space for me to be inside, but it doesn't spawn me outside. So yeah, let's take a look at that takeoff one more time. Oh, no, now it shows it's broken. Okay. So we can see the thrusters rotate once we take off like this. And away we go. Military grade. Yeah, that's been a fun build. I haven't had time to finish the paint job on it yet. Of course, the one in the movie is a lot faster. It's got cooler weapons on it and stuff too. This is almost at its limit for complexity, so. Ta-da! Right on! Oh, look at that. I got it. What? It's walking away. Yo, if you didn't catch it on video, right? You're like, my plane, helicopter thing, he was trying to walk away. It was just spinning like a madman all its own. Alright, let's take a look at a build that's not freaking out. Alright, so this long, lanky fella. Again, no name for this, but I don't know why I want to call it Vulture. For some reason. It just, you'll see. Maybe you'll think the same thing, maybe you won't. So, it's got a pretty cool paint job on it. It's got a long nose. Again, this is VTOL. So, space to hit power to take off. And number 1 rotates the wings around. And away you go. Flies real nice. It is weaponized. Is that a crazy bunker cat? Yep. Copy that. And then when you want to land, because the wings rotate, it actually stops you real dead in your tracks. And down you go. Oh, lost a part. Dang it. Another thing I like about this is the square pack of small thrusters that are in there. They almost look like a spaceship thruster. Square engines in there. Pack of 8. Those are kind of cool looking. It worked really well for VTOL as well. Looks like cool landing gear. Woo! See that? See that? So that's all we got is just these cannons on this, but it actually, this was more of a rotating wing design prototype. It actually works really well. Works pretty good for VTOL. It's making you be able to hover in place and then just turn and take off when you want to. Like the electric Vulture. It's all alien technique. Oh, not aquatic. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And let's take a look at one more build. Now remember how earlier I was saying, wouldn't that be nice if you could have missiles that drop bombs? So you got bomb missile rocket thingies. So that's what these are. Built these the other day. It's kind of tricky to get them to do what you want them to do. They don't go super long range, but say for example, if I were to come over here, say I were to build, if I were to build this Reaper in here, and then I was to go back over here. Now once we's over here and we's in a missile machine here, I was just gonna do number 1. And then I go back up a little bit. And see, with these missiles, you never know, because you never know when they're done or where they're going to hit. See, they're just bombs falling everywhere now. And you can't even necessarily see them. See, I find if you just... Oh, see? See, look at that. See? We're blowing it up, and we're just as... These are still the first ones that we launched. So would you call that a hit? Right, let's look at the damage here. I don't think this thing would fly. I think it's pretty well done. Don't hear any more explosions, so that means our missiles must have either crashed. A lot of the times they blow themselves up as well when they get in the air. So I like to drift forward just a little bit and then launch. And it gives them just a little bit forward momentum. And then back up. This is called the launch and leave system. Because see how much further it went? Because it was moving forward. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for you in this video. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and leave some names for some of these things if you can think of anything. And we will see you in the next one. Ciao.